Hey, just a quick word to encourage you tonight. Revelation chapter 1. John is on the island of Patmos in suffering and kingdom and patient endurance that are ours in Jesus. Wow, doesn't that sound familiar? Patient endurance. And just four quick things that I can see in Revelation chapter 1. Number one is that Jesus still speaks to us. He hears, John turns around and it says in verse 10 and 11 that Jesus speaks to him. And I want to encourage us today, let's continue to be listening to the voice of God. The second thing that I see is that he stands in the middle of the churches. And I know that we can't gather in the same way that we are familiar with, and all of us there, and we're doing church online, and that's a whole new experience for us. But the revelation that we see, the story that we see in this, is that Jesus is in the middle of each and every one of these churches. And you read in the next chapters what he wants to say to them. But Jesus is speaking to our church. Jesus is speaking to River's Edge Church. He's speaking to every church. He's still in the middle. He's still in the presence in the middle of this church. And the next thing that we see, if you read in chapter 1, and you can read this in your own time from verse 12 to 16, he has this understanding of who Jesus is, and it blows his mind. He falls down as he's dead because he sees Jesus who is glorious. And I want to encourage you today, let's lift our heads to see the God who is still glorious, who remains the same, who is wonderful, who is really, the writer can't even capture it all. And the last thing, you know what Jesus says to the church? Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last. And whatever you're facing, whatever you're going through tonight, I want to encourage you, do not be afraid, because Jesus is the one who goes before and who comes after.